The Silent Watchers. The crystalline spires of the Zephyrian Council stretched across 3 moons, their surfaces reflecting the light of distant stars in patterns that had remained unchanged for millennia. Within the central observatory, beams of pure energy and ancient wisdom gathered around a massive holographic display showing thousands of worlds across the galaxy. Each world pulsed with different colors, indicating the threat level of its inhabitants. Earth glowed a dull yellow barely visible among the brighter reds and oranges that demanded the Council's attention. Tavarthul, eldest of the Council members, manifested his consciousness into a shimmering humanoid form as he addressed the assembly. His voice carried the weight of eons, each word carefully measured and deliberate. The human species continues its predictable decline. Our automated systems report increasing environmental degradation, resource depletion, and social unrest. They remain confined to their small blue world, incapable of achieving even basic interplanetary colonization. The other council members barely acknowledged the report. To them, humanity was nothing more than a footnote in the vast catalog of emerging civilizations they monitored. The Zephyrians had witnessed the rise and fall of countless species over their million-year existence. They had seen empires that spanned entire galaxies crumble to dust, watched as civilizations that once seemed unstoppable destroy themselves through war, greed, or simple incompetence. Humans, in their estimation, were following the same tired pattern. But on Earth, in a small laboratory buried beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Sarah Chen was about to prove them wrong. Sarah had spent the last 15 years of her life working on what most of her colleagues considered impossible research. While the world above struggled with climate change and political upheaval, she focused on the fundamental nature of space and time itself. Her theories on dimensional manipulation had been rejected by every major scientific journal, dismissed as fantasy by her peers, and defunded by 3 different government agencies. She didn't care. Science had never been about recognition for Sarah. It was about understanding the universe's deepest secrets, about pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Even if she had to fund her research by teaching undergraduate physics classes and selling her grandmother's jewelry, she would continue her work. The breakthrough came on a Tuesday morning at 3:47 a.m., when Sarah successfully created a stable micro-wormhole between 2 points in her laboratory. The tear in spacetime lasted only 0.003 seconds, but it was enough to transport a single photon from one side of the room to the other without crossing the space in between. She had just achieved humanity's first successful dimensional travel. The achievement went completely unnoticed by the Zephyrian monitoring systems, which were calibrated to detect massive energy signatures and obvious technological leaps. A micro-wormhole generating less energy than a household microwave didn't even register on their sensors. 3,000 miles away, in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Marcus Torres was dealing with problems that would have seemed impossible to previous generations of humans. His mining vessel, the Persistence, was held together with spare parts, creative engineering, and what his crew called aggressive optimism. The ship had been built from salvaged materials, retrofitted with technology that was technically outdated before it left Earth's orbit. Marcus himself was a product of humanity's stubborn refusal to accept limitations. Born in the slums of New Lagos, he had worked his way up from street mechanic to starship captain through sheer determination and an almost supernatural ability to make broken things work. His crew of 12 included former soldiers, disgraced scientists, and desperate colonists who had bet everything on the chance to strike it rich in the asteroid belt. They were succeeding beyond anyone's expectations. The Persistence had been operational for 8 months, longer than any previous deep space mining operation. While Earth's governments argued about funding and regulations, Marcus and his crew had developed new techniques for extracting rare minerals from asteroids using equipment that cost a fraction of what traditional mining operations required. They had learned to use solar wind patterns to reduce fuel consumption. They had figured out how to process asteroid materials into usable ship components. Most importantly, they had proven that humans could survive and thrive in the harsh environment of deep space without the massive support systems that everyone insisted were necessary. The Zephyrian monitoring systems classified their activities as primitive resource extraction and filed them under species in terminal decline. The Council's algorithms assumed that any civilization reduced to scavenging asteroids with jury-rigged equipment was clearly on its last legs. Back on Earth, Sarah Chen was making her second breakthrough. Working with quantum entanglement principles she had derived from her wormhole research, she discovered that her dimensional tiers could be stabilized and enlarged using a specific frequency of electromagnetic radiation. More importantly, she realized that the energy requirements decreased exponentially once a stable portal was established. Within 6 weeks, she had created a gateway large enough to step through. Her first test was simple. She opened a portal between her laboratory and her apartment, 3 miles away. The journey that normally took her 40 minutes by car was completed in a single step. The portal remained stable for 12 minutes before collapsing, but it was enough to prove that her theories were correct. Sarah's hands shook as she documented the results. She understood the implications of what she had achieved. Instant travel between any 2 points in the universe, no fuel requirements, no time delays, no physical barriers. She had just made every form of traditional space travel obsolete. But Sarah Chen was not naive. She had watched governments turn scientific breakthroughs into weapons. She had seen corporations exploit new technologies for profit while ignoring their potential to benefit humanity. She knew that if the wrong people learned about her discovery, it would either be buried in classified military projects or monopolized by the wealthy and powerful. Instead of publishing her results or contacting government agencies, Sarah made a different choice. She began reaching out to specific individuals around the world. Scientists who had been marginalized for their unconventional ideas, engineers who had been fired for refusing to compromise their principles, entrepreneurs who cared more about human progress than quarterly profits. She started with Dr. Kenji Nakamura in Tokyo, whose work on energy storage had been suppressed by oil companies. Then Maria Santos in Sao Paulo, who had developed revolutionary agricultural techniques that could feed millions but had been blocked by agribusiness interests. One by one, Sarah began assembling a network of brilliant, idealistic people who shared her vision of what humanity could accomplish if freed from the limitations of conventional thinking. Meanwhile, in the Zephyrian Council chambers, Exarthal was reviewing the latest reports from Earth with growing satisfaction. Global temperatures continued to rise. Political tensions were escalating. Economic inequality was reaching levels that had historically led to civilization collapse. The human experiment is proceeding exactly as predicted, he reported to the Council. We estimate complete societal breakdown within 50 Earth years. The species will either destroy itself through warfare or succumb to environmental collapse. In either case, the threat level remains negligible. The Council members acknowledged the report with their usual disinterest. Earth's yellow glow on their display hadn't changed in decades. As far as they were concerned, humanity was just another evolutionary dead end, soon to join the countless other species that had failed to achieve interstellar civilization. They had no idea that at that very moment, Sarah Chen was opening her first intercontinental portal, connecting her laboratory in Switzerland to Marcus Torres' mining ship in the asteroid belt. The captain stepped through the dimensional gateway with a mixture of awe and determination, carrying samples of rare metals that didn't exist anywhere on Earth. "This changes everything," Marcus said, his weathered face breaking into a grin. "With this technology, we can establish mining operations anywhere in the solar system. We can build colonies on planets that were previously unreachable. We can make humanity independent of Earth's resources." Sarah nodded, but her mind was already moving beyond the solar system. If her portals could connect Earth to the asteroid belt, they could eventually connect to any point in the galaxy. Humanity wouldn't just escape Earth's limitations, they would transcend them completely. Neither Sarah nor Marcus realized they were being watched by automated sensors that had been placed throughout the solar system centuries ago. The Zephyrian monitoring systems detected the unusual energy signatures, but classified them as equipment malfunction and data corruption. The idea that a primitive species like humanity could develop faster than light transportation using technology the Council didn't recognize was literally inconceivable to their programming. As the weeks passed, Sarah's network grew. The portals allowed instantaneous communication and travel between dozens of locations around Earth and beyond. Scientists shared research without government interference. Resources were distributed based on need rather than politics. For the first time in human history, the planet's brightest minds were working together without the barriers of distance, nationality, or corporate control. The Zephyrian Council remained completely unaware of humanity's transformation. Their ancient, sophisticated monitoring systems were designed to detect the technological pathways that previous civilizations had followed. They looked for massive space stations, fusion reactors, antimatter engines, and other technologies that indicated a species was ready to join the galactic community. They were not programmed to recognize a completely new form of physics that made all previous technologies irrelevant. In the depths of space, Captain Torres and his crew were no longer alone. Sarah's portals had connected them to teams of scientists, engineers, and colonists from around the world. The Persistence became the hub of humanity's first true space-based civilization, supplied by resources from Earth, but independent of its governments and corporations. The revolution had begun, and the Council had no idea it was happening. The Great Escape. 6 months after Sarah Chen's first successful portal test, humanity had quietly established 17 hidden colonies across the outer solar system. Each settlement was connected to the others through her dimensional gateway network, creating an invisible civilization that existed parallel to Earth's struggling nations. The colonies bore names that reflected their founders' hopes rather than political allegiances. Haven Station orbited Neptune, mining ice for water and hydrogen fuel. New Horizons sat on the surface of Titan, its domed cities powered by the moon's methane lakes. Prometheus Base clung to an asteroid beyond Pluto's orbit, serving as humanity's farthest outpost and early warning system. Captain Marcus Torres had become something he never expected, the unofficial leader of humanity's space-borne civilization. His mining expertise had evolved into coordinating resource distribution between colonies, and his natural leadership skills had made him the person others turned to when difficult decisions needed to be made. Standing on the observation deck of Haven Station, Marcus watched ice miners working in the vacuum of space, their movements graceful despite the bulky environmental suits. Each miner was connected to others through Sarah's portal network, allowing instant communication and emergency evacuation if needed. It was a level of safety and efficiency that traditional space operations could never achieve. "The latest reports are in," said Elena Vasquez, Marcus's second-in-command and former NASA engineer who had joined the colonial movement after becoming frustrated with government red tape. She activated a holographic display showing resource flows between all 17 colonies. "Food production is up 30% from last month. We're actually generating surplus in most settlements." Marcus nodded, impressed but not surprised. When humanity's best minds worked together without bureaucratic interference, they accomplished remarkable things. The colonies were becoming self-sufficient faster than anyone had dared to hope. But their success was about to attract unwanted attention. Deep beneath the surface of Europa, Dr. Chen was conducting her most ambitious experiment yet. She had discovered that her portal technology could be enhanced by exotic matter found in certain asteroids. The enhancement didn't just increase portal stability, it extended their range exponentially. Her calculations suggested that she could open gateways to other star systems. The test chamber was buried 2 kilometers under Europa's ice, shielded from detection by both natural and artificial barriers. Sarah stood before a portal frame that hummed with barely contained energy, checking her readings one final time. "Portal energy at maximum stable configuration," she announced to her team of hand-picked researchers. "Target coordinates locked on Proxima Centauri system. Opening gateway in 3, 2, 1. The portal activated with a flash of blue light, revealing a view of alien stars unlike anything humans had ever seen. For 37 seconds, the gateway remained stable, long enough for Sarah to confirm that they were indeed looking at another solar system over 4 light-years away. When the portal finally collapsed, Sarah's team erupted in celebration. They had just achieved interstellar travel, opening the door to unlimited expansion across the galaxy. Unfortunately, their triumph had not gone completely unnoticed. In the Zephyrian Council chambers, automated alerts began sounding for the first time in 3 centuries. The dimensional disturbance created by Sarah's interstellar portal had generated energy signatures that finally registered on their ancient monitoring systems. Xarthol manifested his consciousness with unusual urgency, his energy form crackling with concern. Report the anomaly immediately. The Council's central intelligence, an artificial construct older than most star systems, began its analysis. Quantum disturbance detected in the Sol system. Energy signature consistent with advanced dimensional manipulation technology. Classification: unknown origin. For the first time in millennia, the Council focused their full attention on humanity's small corner of the galaxy. What they discovered defied every prediction their models had made. The Sol system was no longer the primitive backwater they remembered. Quantum signatures indicated advanced technology operating on dozens of moons, asteroids, and planetary surfaces. Energy patterns suggested a civilization that had somehow bypassed centuries of expected technological development. "This is impossible," Xarthol declared, his ancient consciousness struggling to process the data. The humans were classified as pre-interstellar. They showed no signs of advanced physics comprehension. How did they achieve dimensional manipulation technology? The Council's intelligence began correlating data from multiple sources, its analysis revealing the scope of humanity's transformation. Human settlements detected on 17 separate celestial bodies. Advanced manufacturing facilities operational. Food production capabilities exceed planetary population requirements. Energy generation surpasses all previous measurements by a factor of 47. But the most shocking discovery was yet to come. Additional data indicates human technology is based on principles unknown to Council archives, the intelligence reported. Their dimensional manipulation system operates using novel physics that bypass all known technological development pathways. Xarthol felt something he hadn't experienced in eons: uncertainty. The Zephyrian Council had monitored the development of thousands of species. They understood the predictable steps that led from primitive tool use to interstellar civilization. Species developed metallurgy, then chemistry, then nuclear physics, then faster-than-light travel through one of several well-documented methods. Humans had somehow skipped the entire sequence and jumped directly to technology that the Council didn't recognize. Begin detailed surveillance of the human colonies, Xarthol ordered. We need to understand how they achieved this impossible leap. But it was already too late for surveillance to matter. On Prometheus Base, the colony's farthest from Earth, Dr. Yuki Tanaka was analyzing data from the sensor array she had built to monitor deep space. As both an astrophysicist and former intelligence analyst, Yuki had always been paranoid about the possibility that humanity wasn't alone in the galaxy. Her paranoia had just been proven correct. "Marcus, you need to see this immediately," Yuki transmitted through the portal network. Within seconds, Captain Torres materialized in her laboratory, along with Sarah Chen and Elena Vasquez. Yuki activated her holographic display, showing a 3-dimensional map of local space with dozens of new contacts highlighted in red. "These energy signatures just appeared on our sensors 30 minutes ago. They're artificial, highly advanced, and they're moving toward our colonies." Sarah examined the data with growing alarm. "The energy patterns are unlike anything in our databases. This technology is centuries ahead of what Earth's governments possess." "Could they be alien?" Elena asked. "Not could be," Yuki replied grimly. "They definitely are. And based on their behavior patterns, they'd been watching us for a long time." Marcus felt a chill that had nothing to do with the station's life support systems. How long do we have? At their current approach speed, approximately 6 hours before they reach our outer colonies. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had achieved interstellar travel capability, but they had also attracted the attention of beings with far more advanced technology. Sarah's mind raced through possibilities. We need to evacuate the colonies. My portals can move everyone back to Earth in minutes. No, Marcus said firmly. Running back to Earth just puts the entire planet at risk. Besides, these aliens have been watching us there too. Earth isn't safe anymore. Yuki nodded agreement. Marcus is right. But we have another option. Dr. Chen, how quickly can you establish portals to other star systems? Sarah's eyes widened as she understood the implications. You want to scatter humanity across the galaxy. It worked for our colonies, Alina pointed out. Instead of putting all our settlements in one solar system, we distributed them across multiple locations. Same principle, but on an interstellar scale. Marcus felt a familiar surge of determination, the same feeling he'd experienced when first launching into the asteroid belt with a jury-rigged ship and impossible dreams. How many star systems can we reach? Sarah ran rapid calculations. With the enhanced portal technology and exotic matter we've harvested, I can establish stable gateways to at least 50 different systems, maybe more. Then that's what we do, Marcus decided. We don't just evacuate the colonies, we expand them. By the time these aliens figure out what we're doing, humanity will be scattered across so many star systems that no single force could eliminate us all. The next 4 hours became the most frantic period in human history. Sarah's portal network transformed from a colonial communication system into an interstellar evacuation and expansion network. Entire populations moved between star systems in minutes, carrying with them the knowledge, technology, and determination that had made their space-based civilization possible. But the most remarkable discovery came when the first human explorers stepped through portals into alien star systems. Many of the worlds they found showed signs of ancient civilizations, ruins of cities, abandoned technology, and in some cases, entire species that had vanished millennia ago. Dr. Kenji Nakamura, now leading a colony in the Vega system, made the connection first. These aren't random extinctions, he reported through the portal network. The technological signatures are consistent. Someone or something has been systematically eliminating advanced civilizations for thousands of years. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just attracted the attention of aliens. They had attracted the attention of cosmic exterminators who had been managing galactic development for eons. But there was hope in the ancient ruins. Among the abandoned technologies, human scientists found evidence that some species had fought back. Hidden in the deepest vaults of dead civilizations were weapons, defensive systems, and most importantly, detailed records of the beings that had destroyed them. The Zephyrian Council. When the Council's investigation fleet finally reached the Sol system, they found empty colonies and abandoned installations. Humanity had vanished, leaving behind only traces of impossible technology and quantum signatures that led nowhere. Xarthal manifested his consciousness in the ruins of Haven Station, his energy form flickering with confusion and growing concern. Where did they go? The Council's intelligence analyzed every remaining trace of human presence. Quantum signatures indicate massive portal activity, leading to at least 47 different star systems. The humans have scattered across the galaxy. For the first time in his million-year existence, Xarthal experienced something approaching fear. The Council's method of managing galactic civilization depended on controlling species while they remained localized. Once a species spread across multiple star systems, elimination became exponentially more difficult. Track their movements, he ordered. Find their new colonies. Unable to comply, the intelligence reported. Human portal technology leaves no detectable trail. They have achieved perfect stealth expansion. In the abandoned laboratory on Europa, the Council found traces of Sarah Chen's research, but the critical components had been removed. Humanity had not only escaped, They had taken their revolutionary technology with them. Worse still, analysis of the remaining data suggested that humans had been aware of Council surveillance for months. The entire expansion had been planned specifically to evade detection and elimination. As reports came in from across the galaxy, the scope of humanity's escape became clear. Human colonies were appearing in star systems the Council had never monitored, using technology that made traditional surveillance methods obsolete. Each settlement was small, hidden, and connected to others through an invisible network that spanned thousands of light years. Humanity had not just achieved interstellar civilization. They had achieved something the Council had never seen before: a truly distributed, untrackable, and unkillable galactic presence. Standing in the empty ruins of what had once been humanity's most advanced space colony, Exorthal finally understood the magnitude of the Council's mistake. They had dismissed humans as primitive when they should have been studying them. They had waited to intervene until it was too late to matter. Humanity was loose in the galaxy, armed with technology the Council couldn't understand, motivated by the knowledge that someone had been planning their extinction, and scattered across so many worlds that eliminating them all was now impossible. The Council had hesitated, and in that hesitation, they had lost control of galactic development for the first time in 1,000,000 years. The age of human expansion had begun, and there was nothing left to stop it.